Have you ever heard of a place where an entire village vanishes without a trace? Today, we're diving into one of the creepiest, most baffling mysteries of the 20th century, the lost village of Angikuni. This story will send a shiver down your spine, so grab a blanket and stick with me. Our story begins in November 1930, in the vast, frozen wilderness of northern Canada. A lone fur trapper named Joe Labelle, a man who knew the region like the back of his hand, was making his way toward a familiar Inuit settlement on the shores of Lake Angikuni. He'd been there many times before. It was a bustling little village, always full of life, laughter, and the sounds of a thriving community. But as he approached this time, an eerie silence hung in the air. The usual chorus of barking sled dogs was gone. The smell of cooking fires was absent. A sense of profound wrongness settled over him. As Labelle walked into the village, his knees turned to dread. The huts and tents were all there, perfectly intact. But they were completely empty. He called out, but only the wind answered. Inside the homes, he found things that made the mystery even deeper. Pots of stew, now frozen solid, were still hanging over coal fire pits, suggesting the villagers had left in the middle of preparing a meal. He found sealskin kayaks abandoned by the shore, something an Inuit hunter would never do unless they were in extreme danger. Even more bizarre, he found a neatly folded pile of clothing with a needle still threaded through it, as if someone had just put down their mending and walked away. But the most disturbing discovery was yet to come. Labelle found the village's sled dogs. They had all starved to death, still tethered to their posts. This was unthinkable. The Inuit revered their dogs. They were essential for survival and were treated like family. Why would they abandon their loyal companions to such a cruel fate? And then there was the village graveyard. Labelle found that the graves had been opened, and the bodies were gone. The stones that marked the graves were stacked in neat piles beside the empty pits. What could possibly have happened here? A panicked Joe Labelle immediately headed to the nearest telegraph office and sent a message to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The Mounties launched a full-scale investigation. But what they found only added more questions. They interviewed other trappers in the area, some of whom reported seeing a strange, glowing object flying through the sky around the time the villagers disappeared. Was it a meteor? Or something else? The official investigation concluded that the villagers had simply migrated to another area. But this explanation never sat right with anyone. Why would they leave behind their food, their tools, their weapons, and their precious dogs? Why would they desecrate their own ancestral graves? Over the years, many theories have emerged. Some believe the villagers were abducted by aliens, whisked away by that strange light in the sky. Others suggest a more supernatural explanation, perhaps an ancient spirit or curse that drove them from their homes. A more grounded theory suggests a mass panic, maybe caused by a sudden, terrifying event that made them flee for their lives with nothing but the clothes on their backs. But none of these theories can fully explain all the bizarre details: the abandoned food, the dead dogs, the empty graves. To this day, the fate of the 30 men, women, and children of Angikuni remains a complete mystery. Not a single trace of them has ever been found. It's as if they were erased from the face of the earth, leaving behind a ghost village and a story that continues to haunt us nearly a century later. What do you think happened at Lake Angikuni? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you love a good mystery, make sure to subscribe for more.